Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. So the Premier League has begun. Obviously, if your team was a losing team, then it probably wasn't a great weekend for you. But for the neutral, I think it's great to have the Premier League back. Such exciting games took place. Few surprising results as well, which we'll discuss later on in the show. But yeah, football's back and I'm raring to go. So we can start off with one of the biggest surprises, I think, during Matchweek is Brentford versus Arsenal. So before the game even started, I was quite surprised with the lineup as I didn't expect to see Balogun starting the game. For me personally, I didn't think he was effective. I believe he had the least amount of touches on the pitch. Which obviously he's a young player, so he's still learning his trade. But I think it might have been a bit too much too soon for him to start a Premier League game at the start of the season. My question is, why was Lacazette and Aubameyang not in the match day squad? There are rumours circulating that there's a bit of unrest within the squad, or maybe there's been a falling out with Mikel Arteta. But yeah, it's a difficult one for Arsenal fans because there's been a lot of sort of stories regarding the manager where he's had a falling out with players within the squad. So it's not the first time it's happened, and to be fair, it's probably not the last time that will happen within the Arsenal team. So right now we're hearing rumours that possibly Lacazette or Aubameyang would be linked to a move to Barcelona, which I'm not sure if there's any truth in it because Barcelona aren't in a good financial situation to sign those type of players right now. So don't think there's any truth in that rumor, for example. But you do question why neither of the strikers were in the matchday squad. So it was a bit surprising, a bit sort of unusual in terms of why would you not, even if they weren't fully fit, you'd have at least one of the strikers on the bench to make an impact or just to get a bit of fitness later on in the game. So, but back to the match itself. For me, Arsenal just didn't do enough. They conceded 2 poor goals, especially the second goal. For me, I was just like, what happened there? Amateur defending from the Gunners there, with Norgard heading in the back of the net and capitalising from the Arsenal error there. But Arsenal, for me, had a lot of shots towards goal, if you look at the stats. But as we all know, stats doesn't really paint the full picture. For me, they didn't really trouble the goalkeeper at all. So you have to give credit to Brentford. I was so impressed in terms of how they played. They showed great energy, defended fantastically as a collective. Ivan Toney, who I spoke about in the preview show as the one to watch. And for me, he had a great game. He wasn't on the score sheet, but he showed some great touches, some neat passes. And for me, he's more than a goal scorer. And I did say that in the previous show as well. I feel like he will show his quality as the season goes on, as he's got an all-round ability, good with his feet, can produce some neat passes around the pitch. And that was evident during this fixture. So I think fantastic performance from him. Probably expected that he is the talisman of that team. Another player that I was very impressed with was Mbeumo. So for me, very unlucky not to be on the score sheet, but he was a constant threat throughout the game. They just couldn't handle his physicality, and he has such power and speed as well. Did have a couple of shots, and he was just causing havoc to that Arsenal defense. So overall, fantastic win for Brentford, fully deserved. It's the first time that they've returned to the first division of English football since 1947, I believe. So amazing moment for the club and the fans there. In terms of Arsenal, first game back, so pretty much early days. But it's not looking positive if that's the sort of performance you're setting yourself up for the rest of the season. And it just lacked intensity, lacked any drive. They were second to every ball. It just wasn't good enough. So back to the drawing board for Arsenal. But a big job for Arteta this season, in my opinion. I think he will struggle as he's had such high-profile falling out with his players. If I was to make a bold prediction, I don't see him lasting until December. I think if this continues in terms of the level of performances, because the fans will express how they feel, and they won't take this sort of level of management any further. So, I wouldn't wish anyone to be sacked, but I don't think he'll be there for a long time, as he's not really shown much for me in terms of progression. The players don't seem to be playing for him as such, and they just lack spirit. They just lack something that, unfortunately, Arsenal are known for being a soft team now. So, yeah, harsh words, but I think going forward is something they'll probably look into. They're recruiting some decent young players, but will it be enough to challenge a Europa League spot? Who knows? We'll see how that goes for Arsenal this season. The next fixture, Tottenham versus Manchester City. So this one was definitely a surprise for me, as I wasn't expecting Tottenham to do much, to be brutally honest. I guess the stadium really is a bogey ground for Manchester City, who haven't been able to score there. And as I said, definitely a big surprise in terms of the outcome, especially when you watch the first half where City started the game really well, but didn't really create clear-cut chances. So that might be, it's evident that they need a traditional number 9 in their team, which they don't have currently. The goal itself, fantastic run by Bergwijn, who was attacking from the central area on the counter, and threads a nice free ball to Son on the right-hand side. Mendy, who's good going forward, but defensively wasn't the best during this fixture. In this moment, he was out of place, so Ake had to cover his position. Son, who's such a smart player, was able to cut inside and produce a fantastic low shot that went into the back of the corner. Fantastic goal. The role suited Son, actually, in terms of playing up front. I think he kind of thrived off being the main man and just played with a lot of freedom. He wasn't playing in one wing or wasn't asked to do a certain job. He was able to be creative and express himself. So I say going forward, if, Kane was to move to the opposition here, Man City, it's not end of the world. I think they've got a player there who can score goals. They might want to like-for-like replacement, but if you look at world football right now, there aren't many elite strikers that are available at this stage. So something to consider for Tottenham, the money that they receive from Kane, if that was to materialize. An attacker for the wing would be a useful addition, and maybe a central midfield player as well. So obviously we'll speak about transfers as we get closer to the end of the window, but this story will be circulating for a bit of time, so we'll see how that goes. But in terms of the goal, actually, Diaz maybe could have done better, in my opinion. I don't know, his position was just a bit bizarre in terms of the way he tried to stop the ball. I feel like he wanted to handball it, but didn't realize he couldn't, and his body shape was just a bit weird. So yeah, not best defending from Man City in general there. So a poor goal to concede. Bergwijn actually had another chance to make it 2-0, but unfortunately hit the shot wide. Overall, in terms of the game, a disappointing start for Man City. It was always going to be a tough fixture, despite Tottenham's ongoing issues and a new manager as well. It was always going to take time for them to sort of gel, but this is a fantastic start for Spurs right now. As I mentioned before, still a lot of speculation from Kane, so that doesn't help. But at this stage, the focus is the team. So Nuno just needs to make sure that everyone's ready and raring to go in the next fixture, which we'll see how that goes. So the next fixture in Matchweek 1, Manchester United versus Leeds United. So yeah, they were high-flying, to say the least. What a fantastic start for Manchester United. Before the match even began, the fans were given a treat with the unveiling of Rafael Varane. holding the shirt, taking selfies with his phone. Definitely just gave a buzz within the stadium. So I feel like the fans were up for it even more so. First goal itself, lovely dinked pass by Pogba to Bruno Fernandes, who produced a great touch. Lucky the finish as it went through the goalkeeper's leg, but doesn't matter, it still counts. Equaliser from Leeds United, fantastic shot by Ayling, scored a scorcher with that hit. Great goal for the Leeds defender there. 2-1, Pogba was able to produce another through ball to Greenwood, who was fantastic throughout the game. In this particular moment, he was attacking on the left channel and produced a great finish in a very tight angle. Main man again, Pogba, with another assist, slipped it nicely to Bruno Fernandes, who drags the ball back and hits it towards the center of the goal. Leeds defender did try to clear it off the line, but the referee got his notification on his phone that it was a goal, so that goal counted. The fourth goal, great through ball by Lindelof to Bruno, who produced a spectacular finish, one of the best goals of the week. Great hit by the Portuguese midfielder there. And then finally, 5-1, Pogba again with the assist, and Fred finished the move with a neat, sort of simple tap-in from the middle of the box. So, what a fantastic performance by Manchester United. Even if you're a rival fan, you have to give them credit. They just played unbelievable. And speaking of being unbelievable, so was Pogba. For me, just a shame that he couldn't cap off that performance with a goal, as it was fully deserved. But he produced such an amazing performance with four assists. I found it quite funny in terms of Graham Souness's reaction to his performance in the post-match discussions that they have on Sky Sports. He just wasn't ready to give any credit to Paul Pogba whatsoever. And then just said that, oh, he's a £100 million player. He should be producing that week in, week out. Definitely agenda there. I don't agree with his comments towards Pogba, actually. Yes, he has a high transfer fee, but you have to just look at his career so far, where he's played for amazing teams, and he thrives off playing for teams like that. Obviously, if you have good quality around you, it kind of uplifts yourself and you're able to produce your best form. So he does that for France and has been doing that for a number of years. He did that at his previous club in Italy for Juventus. So this season might be the season where we see the real Pogba in terms of consistency, as that's been the issue for me. I don't think the actual quality of the player is in question. It's more about his level of performance throughout the season, as there tends to be quite a few dips here and there. He's been quite unlucky with injuries, so that hasn't helped with his development. But yeah, Souness does make me laugh. Being a Liverpool fan as well, I'm not going to just co-sign it because of the alliance there. But yeah, he's a bit of a character. But one player that really impressed me during this game was Greenwood. For me, he's a natural striker, and I've said this quite a few times since I probably started this podcast, to be fair. I believe that he should be playing more centrally for Manchester United. He showed fantastic movement off the pitch, off the ball, and showed a great burst of speed when he was on the ball. And his finishing has always been impressive, but this finish was good as well because it was a bit of a tight angle. Left foot, right foot, header, he can literally do everything. So I hope that he's given more chances or given a run of games to play more centrally, as I feel like it will be fantastic for his development. And I do believe he can lead that Manchester United line. So overall, fantastic performance by Manchester United. As a rival, fan for, as I support Liverpool, it's a bit worrying in terms of how they played. Obviously, it's just one game, but I do feel like they have closed the gap. Not completely. I do feel like they lack a midfielder. If they had a very dominant midfielder, I feel like they mean business. But the signings of Varane and Sancho would definitely put them in a position where they would challenge City. I think Chelsea are one of the contenders as well, and Liverpool as well. You can't rule them out, which we'll speak in more detail over the course of the show. But great start for United, showing some great form, and let's see how this season continues. So on to the next fixture, Norwich versus Liverpool. So yeah, for me, great win for Liverpool, obviously. 3-0, which I predicted last week, so got that one spot on. In terms of the game, the first half, Alisson had to make some good saves, especially from point blank range. There was that one particular chance where he had to save it and then leap over to get the second one done as well. Showed some fantastic agility there. But Liverpool were able to break the deadlock. Nice fist pass by Trent Alexander-Arnold to Salah, who I don't know if he done it purposely, but it was a clever touch that allowed Jota to go through, and he finished it clinically. So great start for Liverpool. I believe from there on, we're pretty much in control. Norwich didn't really attack. They did try to play us on the counter a couple of times. Cantwell was great on the ball. Rashika, who's one of their new signings, showed some good glimpses of his quality. So they did try to attack, but I just feel like at that stage, Liverpool had more confidence. They were more composed on the ball. And our substitute, Bobby Firmino, came on and was able to score from a tapping. Good cross by Mohamed Salah to find Bobby in open space. And the third goal itself was just spectacular. Great hit by Salah from the edge of the box. And overall, a solid performance by Liverpool. I think there's a lot more to come in this team. I believe we're still playing in first gear. Van Dijk made his start, which I was a bit surprised to see, as I thought maybe it would have been a bit too soon. But credit to Klopp for playing him, as I feel like that will help him sort of get the rust off in terms of his performance. Matip played really well as well. Some good performances. Keita did well as well. Kind of played that genie role where he wasn't as attacking as he normally would have been in the past, but kept the ball and kept the possession quite well. So decent performance from him. So yeah, excited for Liverpool. Hoping there's a couple of transfer news in the coming weeks. But at this stage, we're not too sure. But we do have some great news regarding our captain. So it's not official, but strong rumours circulating that he has agreed to sign a contract extension with the club. So for some, never in doubt, but you just never know these contract situations. So a lot of fans were slightly worried, but thankfully, we will hopefully hear an official announcement soon. We didn't want a sort of recap of the Genie Wijnaldum scenario where it just kind of prolonged throughout the season, and we just never know what would happen with our captain. But thankfully, Captain Hendo is staying. He's not going anywhere. So great for Liverpool regards to that. But I'm hoping, I would love to see two players signed for Liverpool. I would like to see a midfielder and a striker. But I feel like it might just be the one signing. And if I was to choose, it's a tough one, but I'd probably say an attacker. I just feel like we need a bit more pace up front, a bit more goals. But either way, I feel like we just need a fresh face in the squad, someone that can offer us something different. So who knows what happens in the course of the next 2-3 weeks, but we'll see how that goes. And the final fixture that I'll be reviewing is Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. So great start for the Blues. Alonso scores a fantastic free kick from the right-hand side, which gives Chelsea the lead there. Pulisic was able to grab a goal after the goalkeeper misread the cross there and sort of parried the ball towards the central area. And Pulisic was able to capitalize and score from close range. Trevor Chalobah made his Premier League debut and capped it off with a fantastic long strike. For me, beautiful celebration as Chalobah was pointing towards the sky as in dedication for his mum, who he promised that he would one day make it as a Chelsea player. And great to see the players embracing him as well. So a nice moment there for Chelsea and for Chalobah as well. But overall, I feel like I was very impressed with Chelsea's performance throughout the game. They looked quite comfortable throughout. They weren't really troubled by Crystal Palace. Zaha had a couple moments, but nothing to really trouble the goalkeeper there. As I mentioned earlier, in terms of contenders, for me, they seem to be very strong contenders as well. the signing of Lukaku definitely helps regards to their title challenge. There are some rumors circulating right now that they are close to agreeing a deal for Koundé from Sevilla. So the young French defender that just participated in the Euros as well. If this still happens, this is a fantastic signing for the club. If you haven't seen him play, he can play centre back and right back in the back four, and can also play on the right hand side of a back three, possibly play even as a wing back. So great versatility for a defender. He's very, very fast, so it will suit the different system that Tuchel would probably employ during the season. So if this moves happen, I believe it's around the 60 million figure. That would be, don't get me wrong, it's a big feat, but that would be a fantastic signing for them. Just got a comment here from Stu Mac. I did warn you about why being a carrying defender. Yeah, to be fair, it didn't justify my opinion there. So yeah, poor performance from not just him, from the whole defense of Arsenal. To be fair, I think they were shocking throughout. But speaking about Chelsea, actually, unfortunately, they just sold the player. So Abraham has left and is close to completing a move to AS Roma. So for me, it's a fantastic move for the player. Gets to play for a great coach like Mourinho in a different league. So it's a different experience for him. And for me, it'll be great development playing abroad. English players are doing that in recent times. So for me, it's good to see. If they're not getting first team football in the Premier League, it's only right they explore and play in different leagues. I'm sure it'll help within their own development, but also the national team as well. So for me, it'll be fantastic to see that. Stu Max, we just got Montiel from Liverpool, 10 euros, and he can play right back and right centre back. Oh, so you mentioned him in the last episode. So this guy could be his sort of long-term placement there. Okay, just got another comment here from Rafael Soares. Hello, my friend. Here in Brazil, we think that Europeans don't care about the Club World Cup. There are rumors that teams play against their will. Is it true? From my knowledge, I don't think they play against their will. I've never heard that sort of talk or any speculation regarding that, because when Liverpool participated last year, we wanted to win that trophy because it was a trophy we had never won in our history. So it was quite evident as well, because we had to play a second team in the FA Cup, as our football association didn't allow us to postpone those fixtures. So we wanted to play. If other teams don't respect that tournament, for me, that's on them. But for me, as a fan, I had never witnessed my team winning it until last year. So there was definitely one ticked off there. I know in Brazil, there's a bit more sort of profile about it, a bit more wanting to win that trophy. I don't think we don't respect it in Europe. It's probably just because only some teams are able to go there and win it. So it's a tricky one. But in terms of, as a Liverpool fan, I can tell you for a fact, we didn't disrespect that trophy at all. I remember when we won the Champions League in 2005 and we lost to the final in against Sao Paulo. I was disappointed that we couldn't win that match, and we really tried to win it as well. So got another comment here. Stu Mac was actually referencing to Rafael Soares' comment. Some do, my friend, but many in the UK are arrogant and don't respect it, sadly, but that's their loss. It might be the case that a lot of fans don't respect it. For me, a trophy is a trophy. There's so many fans that support clubs that haven't won silverware in a long time. So this is still a highly regarded prize. It's not a pre-season trophy. It's not just a Mickey Mouse trophy. It's a genuine cup where elite teams all over the world are playing in one tournament. So for me, it has to be highly respected regarding that. But interesting discussion there. So that is my match analysis, but I will present my team of the week. So this is something I do on each episode whenever I cover the Premier League. So I'll just show you on my screen who my starting lineup is. So here is my team of the week. So I'll just go through the lineup and present why I've selected certain players in the team. So Alisson, who I mentioned earlier on, was fantastic. Made some great saves in the first half. I was just impressed with the overall performance. So that's why I've got him in the lineup. Got a back three. They're not traditional back three, as Alonso and Ayling are fullbacks. But I'm trying to squeeze everyone in the formation. So that's why you'll probably see a lot of back three formations throughout the season. But just to justify my selection, I've got an Alonso on the left-hand side. As for me, he's got a fantastic free kick to give Chelsea the lead. Chalobah as well, scoring on his debut, a fantastic strike, and produced a great defensive performance as well. Ayling scored a fantastic go outside the box, so that's why I've got him in my lineup. The midfield, Canos produced a fantastic finish from the left-hand side on his Premier League debut against Arsenal. Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba, what can I say? Sensational performance from Bruno, who scored a hat-trick, and Paul Pogba with 4 assists. As you can see, I've got him as my captain. So whenever I do these team of the weeks, if someone's a captain, I've regarded him as the star player of the week. So with 4 assists and a phenomenal performance, it's only right that he's given the captain armband in my lineup. So that's my selection for Pogba there. And Ben Rama as well produced a great performance, a nice near post header, and also produced an assist for his team to win 4-2. And then my front line is Salah, who scored a goal and produced 2 assists. Antonio, same as well, a goal and 2 assists. And Son, simply scoring the match winner against the champion. So for me, fully deserves to be in that lineup. But if you have any sort of disagreements, or if you feel like there were other players that deserve to be in that team, please let me know in the comments. I will be sharing this on my social media accounts as well at Ozzie FTP. So do let me know your thoughts regarding my selection there. Okay, we've got some comments here. So any more talk about Liverpool signing anybody else before the window slams shut? At this stage, I'm not hearing much, to be fair. It's been more about us signing our current players to contract extensions. It's been quite quiet, to be honest with you. I think the last rumor was Shumani as well, a midfielder from Monaco. But I'm not sure if that's the player that we'd go for. To be fair, he looks a top talent, but I don't think we'd be making a move from right now. Doku as well. Saul is that name that keeps wandering around, but I don't see anything happening, to be honest with you, regarding Saul. I just think it's all paper talk, to be honest with you. But I would say this, I think if you look at the 4 teams, the top 4 teams, Manchester United, for me, still lack a dominant central midfielder for them to say we're title challengers. So that's one area they still need to improve. As they've done well to get Sancho and Varane, but for me, that's always been their weak point, because they've not been able to dominate midfield against stronger oppositions. And against teams that are more physical, they've not been able to match them in regards to that as well. So they've still got work to do regarding their recruitment. Chelsea, they've just signed Lukaku, fantastic player. Koundé might be coming in. So if Koundé comes, it definitely strengthens them. For them, it will just be that consistency. Can they maintain that and keeping certain players injury-free throughout the season? Man City as well, fantastic signing, obviously, Jack Grealish. But it's quite obvious for me that they need a proper striker, a guy that will get them goals, a fox in the box type of player. Jesus is a good option, but for me, I don't think Man City fans feel like he can lead that line throughout the whole season. So there's only so much that you can play De Bruyne or Gundogan as a false 9. It works for certain oppositions, but I don't think it's something that can be worked all the time. And look at our team, Liverpool. So Liverpool, in terms of the starting lineup, it's pretty much there. I don't think it needs much tinkering. What we lack is squad depth. So players from the bench, especially attackers, like we've had Origi and Shaqiri. Shaqiri for me is a good player, but doesn't quite suit the system that we play. As Shaqiri is more of a number 10, more of a creative player. Whereas we need someone on the wing that offers pace and then that can cover both left and right wing. That sort of type of forward is what we need right now. So that's what we need. I think we need a couple players. I think a replacement for Gini Wijnaldum still needs to be done. In terms of numbers, we have the numbers of midfielders to fulfill the season, but a lot of our midfielders, unfortunately, are injury prone. So it can't be heavily relied on Oxlade-Chamberlain, unfortunately, or Naby Keita. Even our captain, Jordan Henderson, has had a few injuries in the past couple of years. So his fitness can be in question during the season. Milner's close to 35 now, I believe. So there's only so much some consecutive games that he can play. Thiago's had injuries throughout his career as well. So, we're not blessed in terms of injury records within the squad. So we have to manage them correctly. So I feel like a couple additions, one in midfield, one attack, would help solidify that. At this stage, I have no names. If I was to choose, I'd probably go for a striker like Vlahovic, who I feel like will just offer something different to us. I know people might question his link-up play because we're used to seeing how Firmino plays. But for me, he's an out-and-out striker. He'll get us goals. He offers pace. Left-footed player as well, so great finisher on the ball. Can head as well, especially last season where Trent and Robertson were just whipping crosses left, right, and centre, but no one was at the end of it. So a player like that would suit us in the team. And I don't think Origi, unfortunately, cult hero and everything, isn't able to offer that anymore. So he needs to, for me, move on and continue his career, maybe for another team in the Premier League or abroad. But fingers crossed we sign a couple of players. At this stage, I have no ideas. The rumor mill has gone a bit quiet regarding players, so maybe that could be a good thing that we'll sign a player out the hat. Who knows? Only time will tell there. But this is the close to the end of our show. So if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the support. If you're on social media, don't forget to follow me on social. So I'm on Instagram at Ozzie.ftp and I'm on Twitter at OzzieFTP. Next episode will be this Thursday at 16th of August. So this will be a preview match for my fellow Liverpool fans here as we play Burnley at 12:30 on Saturday. So I'll be previewing that match, giving you my predicted lineup and score prediction there. Hopefully, maybe get some transfer news in the next few days. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But thank you to everyone for tuning in. And we shall see you guys very soon. Take care.